Hey everybody, welcome back to Northern Lion Plays Trackmania. Track of the day. Track of the morning to you laddies. Regression before progression. It's okay, we got a lot of time. Today, the Discord says, author metal is too hard, but it's a funny track. Jesus, take the wheel. I'm starting to be convinced this track is just bad. It feels more RNG than most tracks. I'm not sure if he will like it or not. I'm guessing not. Well, whatever people say I am, that's what I'm not. So we'll see. No promises or lack of promises thus far. If you'll excuse me, they have to query the MongoDB architecture they have in the back end, and they're sending, hold on, we're timing out. We got a lot of requests to the server for the present moment. There's just a lot of server requests. If you just, any second now, we're going to be done with the server requests. We're going to load up your campaign here, and here we are. Region, top 9 yesterday. Acceptable. I thought we did okay yesterday, considering the track was really hard for me. 143 in the egg carton is a little bit below expectations, but we did get the gold. So the Future Valley, I like that. The author medal today, I don't have any expectations that we're going to get it based on... I mean, here's the thing. The people that play in the Discord, as soon as the track comes out, they're like super diehards. No GPS today, apparently. They're diehards, you know? They know what they're doing in Trackmania. Oh. So, when they say the author medal is too hard, it's not to say, like, I resign myself to the idea that it can't be done. Oh my. But it's more like I accept that it's gonna be an uphill battle. But, you know, it's happened before. Ice Turlet is, like, one of my classic favorite examples for that. Okay, so we go down this way next. So this is a 4-element track. I did read that in the Discord as well. So we got, you know, concrete, and then we go over the concrete, or more element track, not even 4-element, I should say. We go on to Dort. Following the Dort. We're on grass. Following the grass, we're back on the sidewalk. Oh, that's smooth skating. And then this is where... this is where things get mighty interesting, I'm sure. Oh, and then this, what a weird corner. Oh my god. I wouldn't call it a meme track yet, but I would say that it subverts your expectations like Season 8 of Game of Thrones. And then we're going through the luge track here. We got a long way to go. I mean, this is really just our reconnaissance run. I don't think we ever got to full speed on this entire track, so I'm not sweating it for now. That's a deserved bronze medal. 42 seconds will get us to a silver. Fair to say, I think we got a long way to go before we're going to worry too much about getting the gold. Just make it. Okay, that's making it. That's one version of making it. And here, counter steer, but like not as hard as your normal counter steer. I think that was a much better corner than is typical for me. Then, of course, you're going to remember that this one goes left instead of right. We lost a lot of speed. I think we're also like going uphill, which is making it a little unusual. So you try to stay roughly between the red lines here. Oh, I don't know. That might be concrete on the side. If that's concrete on the side, we're way better off doing things that way. Okay, so the silver is like a gimme. We're just gonna need a couple more passes to get it done. But we're like completely unconcerned about doing things the optimum way right now. We haven't even gotten started, really. That's okay. Sometimes the meme tracks, like, they're hard, but they're easier to rank well in sometimes because a lot of people, I mean, I've said this, stop me if you've heard this one before, right? But, you know, sometimes people just don't do them. There's a lot of people out there that as soon as they see ice, oh, that's not good. As soon as they see ice, they're like, I'm just done. I can live with this vector right here. And I understand why, don't get me wrong. Wow, dude, we lost so much time. I was convinced we were still going to be in there. But yeah, so this might be a situation where, honestly, a relatively, like, unoptimized performance ends up being a ranking that's a little bit better than expected. I kind of like a meme track after all the tracks we've been through lately, just because it mixes it up. And, you know, we've had a lot of tracks recently where it was like, you know, you had to be absolutely perfect to improve on our time. That being on the grass there is not what we want, obviously. But I'm glad, like, we seem to have, on this one, it's like anything can happen, is what I mean, I guess. That was a much better entrance here. Try not to wobble so much if possible. There you go, we cut another half second off there, but we could do much better than that. I mean, we were on the grass on that one, so, like, that's nothing. But, you know, we might be a little bit better off here, just from the perspective of, like, you know, we can never count ourselves out of a lap, I guess. Unless we actually, like, hit a wall, or our runs get so good, which I wouldn't really consider that to be too likely for the time being, but... just don't clip the grass. There you go. Okay, I mean, we did clip the grass anyway, because I'm not used to my speed being so low that my traction is so good there. I think we're going to be way too slow there. Yeah, like, my old self was real solid in that section. This one's not going to do it. Yeah. Alright, that's fine. I do think, you know, we're going to turn the ghosts on today, but we can at least get to that silver pretty risk-free. The gold might be a little bit out of the pocket for me. And the author, I don't know. We'll see. Sometimes ice surprises me. There you go. I think I was counter-steering too much on the ice based on previous tracks that we've done. Okay, that's like a horrible loss of speed because we're also going uphill here. But at least we didn't touch the grass. And we want to enter and, like, yeah, we want to really drive on the side as much as possible. Got way, yeah, that's not so good. We got way too much slide going on there. I get that it's ice, but come on. This ain't a Goo Goo Dolls song from 1998, okay? Why don't I slide? I'll tell you why I don't slide. Because it slows us down in most situations. I will say, I don't know the lead singer of the Goo Goo Dolls. I feel like I know most of the other lead singers of famous bands. And just their names, not, like, personally. But something in my head, I know it sounds like it's like a wrong name for Trent Reznor. But something in my head is like, isn't he named, like, John Resnick? I'm trying to work on my Jeopardy skills, you know? Been watching a lot more Jeopardy episodes on Netflix. Evergreen television. Okay, take it up the side. Good. And then here, just try not to overcompensate. We made it. It's not the way I would have drawn up that final tunnel. Hold on. Lead singer of the Goo Goo Dolls. John Rzeznik. What can I say? Sometimes I don't believe that I have knowledge stuck in my head. And this happens to everybody, I'm sure. You know, you make a best guess at something even though it sounds a little silly, and then, you know, the internet rewards you. If you'll excuse me. I don't know, I hear some screaming coming from the other room, some screaming that says no, no. And I got a message on the Discord, which could be from my wife, so probably following this lap, I will take a look. Let's just hope she's watching Dan's Sekiro stream and not talking about some kind of major thing that's going on. Let me see here. Ruka threw up in my room. I'll be right back. Okay, problem solved. Let's get back to it. Should be good to go. Again, gold. I think we're going to need some ghostly help. Some apparition assistance. This is obviously not a fantastic start so far, but I think we got a long way to go before we're too worried about, you know, being 6/10 back. Silver, though. Silver is within the realm of... Obviously, we want to avoid the hang time there. Silver is within the realm of our capabilities, and amber is the color of our energies. That was a great exit. Oh no, I got the speed wobble. I got the speed wobble! I can't believe, considering we finished upside down, we were only half a second back of our PB. I think that's a bad sign more than a good sign, but still. Straight wheels. There you go. Oh, this is a good lap. This is a good lap. You come over this side. Relatively straight on the luge track. Not that straight. Come on, man. You know what I miss in video games? Arcade sports games. I'm sure, like, the market is not fantastic for them. Because people nowadays, for, like, a, you know, a $60 sports game, they want, you know, good multiplayer, real rosters, you know, even, like, be a general manager, you know, franchise mode, career mode, etc., etc. I still wonder if there isn't, like, a little bit of a market. Yo, we sorted the speed wobble out, dude. Let's go. That's going to be our silver. I think I might even try to grind that a little bit further, honestly. I wonder if there isn't a market for, like, a $30 or $40 arcade sports game a la NBA Playgrounds 2K. Like, Super Mega Baseball is a great example. I think Super Mega Baseball, and it's not even necessarily just an arcade game. It's not to say it's super simmy, because there is, like, some cartooniness, obviously. But, you know, you're not just, like... Let me put it this way. MLB The Show is fairly... It can get fairly simmy. But when you're playing on, like, Road to the Show mode, you get, like, superpowers. You might think it's simmy because it's got, like, more realistic 3D graphics, but, like... You know, hey, press LT to enter Showtime mode once per game, and your at-bat will be in slow-mo, you know? So it's there's a lot of wiggle room between enthusiast, you know, sim player and arcade game. But I kind of miss those, like, the prevalence of AA arcade sports games, and especially, like, with more online multiplayer options in the modern era. I think it'd be a lot of fun. Really, what I'm complaining about is the lack of a PC hockey game that you can play online. If they ported NHL to PC, even though the NHL franchise is not in its best spot as of late, it would still be a lot of fun. It would fill that niche for me. But I'm like, dude, make a super mega hockey. Make a, you know, NHL The Show. I understand licensing, but, like... I'm just saying, in a perfect world, blue sky thinking, that's what I want. Okay, that was a huge overcommitment, but we actually got on a nice vector there. That's fine. Alright, we might be in ghost territory. We're only 12 minutes into the video. Rarely am I 12 minutes into the video and so thrilled with a silver medal, but here we are. So I actually learned from my own ghost there. That seems like a good entry point here. I do think this is one of those times where the ghosts are not going to be separated by, like, hundreds of a second. They're going to be separated by, like, you know, by tenths, which is good enough for me. Okay, let's put on opponents from Canada. Let's see how Socks is doing today. Oh, I've already bested them. Imagine that. I guess we are a little early today. It's only, like... It's 11:40 a.m., so it's been running for, like, exactly 100 minutes at this point. Okay, so we don't want to get airtime there. Look at... Dude, people are already, like, 4 tenths ahead of me, and then they're cutting through the left side of this. Okay, this corner is the big one right here. How do you take it? Yo, like, pretty high up the wall, and then you're going to have to do a counter steer. Okay, good to know. So how'd you guys get so far ahead of me so early? No hang time is a big one, I'm sure. Then you cut way more to the left over here. Also understood, okay? Also understood. I know we're back, but we'll figure it out. Because this big wall right here is it's an important one. So you counter steer. Why is there a crash on the top Canadian leaderboard? Really makes you think, huh? Wow, you go super high on the ice tunnel. Okay, alright, hold on. This is going to be an iterative process. So here, just want to keep yourself on. Exit towards the left side. Cut the curb. And already that's paying dividends. Then here, a little higher on the wall. Counter steer to the right to exit properly. Maybe we could exit that turn a little faster. It's not optimal, but it is what it is. And remember, these are not the best ghosts in the world. They're merely the best ghosts in Canada. No. No. I got less wobble. I got less wobble. Let's go. Okay, that's not much of an improvement, but it is an improvement. Don't hit the wall. Great name. One day, though, you know it's going to look ironic. There's going to be a track where, like, hitting the wall is the meta. And your name is going to be very hilarious. It's okay. Being half a second back, not amazing there. Again, we probably want to exit that ramp a little earlier, but it is what it is. Want to avoid the airtime and that bump. But I really think old me screwed up pretty badly on the entrance here. End here, but old me actually did a lot better than new me, I think, there. Alright, we got room to grow. We know 38 seconds is the gold. Okay, 30... Oh my god, the best times on this one don't even hit gold yet. That's scary. That's a scary thought. Sorry, I defaulted to muscle memory there for sure, so we're back a little bit. We're gonna pass our previous self. Go up the mountain. Counter steer slightly. Good counter steering, sir. Good counter steering. Don't get airtime, please. Okay, there's not much airtime at least. Coming around the side. Didn't clip the wall. Entered well. Terrible counter steer. Still really bad. We still almost beat our time by a full second. We're gonna stick with opponents from Canada, but let's get the people out of there that crashed, okay? Socks, you're barely on the list anymore. I hope you're putting down a better time today. I look to you as a litmus test of how we're doing. Not a great turn. It's okay. Come up the wall. Light counter steer. That was good. Wheels didn't thaw, unfortunately, for a while there, but yo, did you see? We accidentally followed the King of the Ghosts. And then here, there you go. That was good. You didn't get the big boost off the wall. Oh no, you're going sideways, dude. So yeah, if you're waiting for my review of this track, it's definitely like a memeable track, but I actually am enjoying the experience. If I'm being honest, like I wouldn't say it's a better track than yesterday, but I might be enjoying the experience a little bit more. Just because of the fact that yesterday's track was so punishing. If you ever made a mistake, cancel Christmas. This one is more like, you know, you're kind of in it till the end. Mostly because of the fact that it's so easy to make mistakes. That you'll still be making mistakes by the very end of the course. That was a decent run. We lost a little at the end for sure, but... So I actually, like... I'm enjoying the arcadey nature of this one a little bit more so far. So this is a really bad start. I don't think there's any reason we shouldn't be running with the Bulls in Pamplona up there. Obviously, we don't like our tires getting stuck in the rut. But we still got a lot to learn. This is like a checkpoint restart on the whole map. We got a lot to practice on the map in general. I can't believe, like, I'm keeping a run going where I accidentally clipped the wall, but... So what if you go... I think if you go super high up on the wall, it is going to be, it's going to pay dividends, but... Okay, that jump is going to cost us, but we're way better off now. There's a much better line than we used to run. That's the power of apparitional assistance there. Keep those wheels turned. Yeah, that was fine, that was fine. Now we want to cut this corner a little low, actually. And then hold. That's a grip it and rip it. Actually, you know what? All these ghosts are doing good stuff. I think we're still very much in this. Cut off another half second. What are we at? 38.337. If we held it together in the final part of that tunnel, which I'm just going to let you know, like, I'm trying. I'm not going to say it's RNG, because I think... You know, it's not RNG in a literal sense. It's not a dice roll in the background, but it is like, you know, there's a disproportionate effect of your actions to what happens on the course. You know, a very slight difference in the way that you approach an ice tunnel is going to make a huge difference in how the ice tunnel approaches you. So I don't know, we accidentally got some new tech going there. That was pretty sweet. keep it together. But yeah, I actually like this track. I do. RNG, I don't think is the right word, but certainly not as well. I wouldn't say it's not as technical, because I think like on a literal level, it's insanely technical. I don't even know what kind of eigenvalues are being are causing such a huge influence on our performance here. You know, I don't know if it's the way we're pointing. I don't know if it's the speed we're going when we get there. I don't know if it's X, Y, Z, or alpha 1. But I actually think that it's a fun track, and it's a nice track, honestly, after so many days of like semi-pure racing, to just have the ability to be like, you know what, this one's kind of just for fun. Just throw it at the wall, and if you like the way it goes, then clap, man. And if your comments love it too, then clap your hands. It's a very, very clumsy reference to Living in the World Today, track 2 by the Jizza off of Liquid Swords. You'll be hearing the slang that the Wu-Tang say. Okay, we're in there. We're in there. We're competitive. We're hip. We're with it. Had to lay off the throttle there slightly because of my entrance vector. Acceptable. Now this is where I gotta learn. I think that was really good. 1.2 seconds came off the top on that one. Oh, baby. We finally have cracked the top triple digits in North America. It's nice to see. Where are we at here? The top Canadian on the current North American list. 36.778. I might get the Discord involved on this one. I might ask him, hey, what's the author medal? Because I know we just got gold. But this is like, it would be a good time to figure out what the heck the author medal even entails, right? Because if we're talking like a 36-second time, I can't believe we almost kept that going. I mean, 36 I'm not going to say is impossible. But when I swing my sword, they all choppable. That's a reference to track 1 off of the Jizza's Liquid Swords album. The title track, Liquid Swords. Lyrics are weak, like clock radio speakers. Hold on. I do still think there's room. Like, I think my ghost is in last. And then recovers on the tunnel somehow. So that's a really encouraging thing. Let me go peep the Discord here for a moment and go, hey, Discord. Hey, Discord. What's the author medal today? Let's see. 34.923. Oh my god. Okay, so that's, I don't want to take your hope away, but that's pretty unrealistic. That's also not the right way to approach this turn. So we need to cut almost 3 seconds off of our lap time. That seems unlikely. So we're making a play for regional significance today. We're like top 29 in Canada or something like that. We have in the past been able to approach like that top 10, top 11 sort of level. Where are we at? Let's just see. Top 28 Canada. Like, anytime I see like top 15 Canada, I feel pretty good about my performance. So I think one more major breakthrough would put us there. You know, we're very unlikely to end up beating Dominator, the guy who, well, the person I should say, who wins every BC track of the day, or wins every track of the day in BC. So more power to them. However, we might be able to stay in competition for the Canadian National Championship. Probably helps if you keep your wheels on the ground. But again, just because I'm from Canada doesn't mean I'm familiar with driving in a luge track. That's something, honestly, that's more of like a Western European and, you know, like German, Swiss sort of thing. It's not to say we don't have, you know, accomplished luges in Canada, but we're really more of a bobsled country, to be honest. Now, you might, like, you ever watch a sport in the Olympics and like wonder how the country got so good at that sport. You're like, whenever you watch like Norway is a great example in the Winter Olympics, you know? They win almost every cross-country skiing event every year, which is insane to me, because like one person can win like 17 gold medals in all the cross-country events, and then, you know, 30 people on the men's hockey team win, and it only counts as one gold medal. So like, riddle me this, Norway. I don't really see how that's fair. You don't understand. The 100 meter is very different from the 150 meter, which is very different from the 200 meter, which is very different from the 250 meter. Yeah, okay. I'm just saying, I think for fairness, the hockey tournaments in the Olympics, and partly I'm saying this because I'm Canadian for sure, but I don't think they should be worth the number of gold medals equal to roster size, because that would just blow the whole thing out. But they should be worth more than one. Like, in the Summer Olympics, Usain Bolt, he can run for like 9 seconds and he gets a gold medal. Then he runs for 17 seconds and he gets another gold medal. Even if you win every game in the Olympic hockey tournament, you're still playing like 7 or 8 games. So, and they're an hour long each. I'm just saying, like, in terms of equitability, where's the fairness? Anyway, so, like, what I was going to say for my earlier reference is that's still how I feel whenever I see Canada do well in a sport like bobsled. Like, you might think that, you know, when you go to Canadian gym class, they're like, hey, we're going to do a bobsled unit. Absolutely not. I have no idea how you get into bobsled. I assume that the first step involves some level of affluence, because I don't even know. I guess the way it works is you got to like live in a city that maybe hosted the Winter Olympics before, so they have bobsled training facilities. Unless you're just, you know, looking at photos in the bathtub like the driver from Cool Runnings. Like, I genuinely don't know. I don't know how you get involved in a sport like that. Like curling, I get. I've never been approached to do curling, and curling is still like a little bit of a fringe sport. It's like it's watched on TV, but it's kind of at that same level as like darts. It's a little higher than darts in Canada for sure, but like there are curling rinks in every city and many towns as well. And, you know, people, you know, maybe a couple of times a year, depending on what they're into, you know, they might go to what's called a Bonspiel, which is like an informal kind of curling tournament that is, you know, lightly competitive but largely recreational. So you see how like the curling culture gets built. But like sports like bobsled, I honestly just have no idea. That's not a sport where you can just be like, hey, grab your bobsled, meet me at the hill, you know? I don't know how you get started with that. But for a long time, to be honest with you, and you may laugh, but this is a very typical experience. For a long time, I had no idea how one got started in like Formula One. And then I lived with a guy in university who was like, he was not a great driver. I don't mean that in like a negative way, but he did race in like karting events. And then he was like, yeah, I was like a competitive go-kart driver as a kid. And I'm like, I thought he was kind of joking. I thought it was like recreational, but no, it was like a real deal. Like, and I mean, of course, if you know that it is, of course it is. But at the time, I was like, what, you just like drive go-karts around for fun? It was like, no, this is like the feeder series for the feeder series for the feeder series for Formula 2, which then goes, or Formula 3, which then goes into Formula 2, which then goes into Formula 1. Pretty wild. I don't know the feeder system for a lot of sports out there, I suppose, is the obvious thing to say. Like hockey, the hockey farm-to-table pipeline is very simple in Canada. You play hockey as a youth, wearing the Tim Hortons logo on your shirt. If you're very good, you try out for rep teams. If the rep team is very good and you're very good on it, then, you know, you might get to, you know, Bantam and then Junior C, Junior B, Junior A. If you're extremely good at Junior A, you stand a chance to get drafted. And if you're drafted, then you go typically to the AHL, the Minor League Hockey League, or it depends where you're drafted from. But if you're Canadian, you usually go to the AHL or the OHL. And then, you know, if you excel there or your team gets some injuries, you might get a chance to play in the show. Like, that pipeline is well noted. But the pipeline for bobsled, I have no idea. Isn't it like Isn't it like if you're the bobsled team coach's child, like you're just by default, you're on the team? I don't know. I mean, if anybody here is watching, or if they're like learning, if they're a bobsled driver themselves, please feel free to let me know, because it's something I'd be interested to hear. Like, in like 8th grade, I went to this, it's kind of like during what we call March break, which is actually like spring break in the US, I went to like this, I don't know, nerd camp, I guess you could call it, where like you go to the local university and you take like a week of courses about something. And one of my classmates went to a different school, and she was like a competitive speed skater. I was just like, whoa, I didn't even know you could do that. But obviously, like, you know, you got to get involved at the youth level of these sports to have a chance to compete at the adult level. Okay, that was the first time in a while we were actually like part of the mix there. I've realized that we actually have reached the point on the track we were scared about earlier, where we're like, you have to have a perfect run just to have a chance to stay competitive with your PB, but I don't know. We'll figure it out. It's still pretty early. I don't think we went up high enough on the wall, but again, like, it's something that's hard, if not impossible, to adjust in the moment. It's kind of like the way you're going in is the way that you're gonna go out. I think we want to gentlify this corner. Are we in there? I lost a half second. I knew, like, I was wiggling, but so was every ghost in front of me. But I guess the ghosts in front of me were a little stronger in the moment. Yeah, I'm always interested in those fringe sports. I mean, I tell people, like, chess, the pipeline seems very normal to me. Because I was, like, kind of in it, but kind of on the outside of it, I suppose, as well. But people sometimes are, like, flabbergasted. Like, the chess club I played in when I was a kid was, like, it was an all-ages chess club. And there was a guy there, well, a kid there, because he was 2 years younger than me, which means he's now, like, 30, but who was really good. He went on to become an international master, which is not, like, an informal title, let's put it that way. So, like, he's a, maybe not, like, the top level chess player, but, like, if he wanted to, could definitely make a career out of, like, playing, coaching, you know, and probably streaming now, because it's so popular on Twitch, but, he was, like, 12, and I was 14, and he just said to me one day, and it's not rude, this is just, like, what it is. He was like, you know, you're pretty good. If you really tried your best, you could, and studied a lot, you could probably become an international master, but I think that's your peak because you're too old. I was 14 years old at the time. But it's true, you know. You would go to these, like, competitive chess tournaments, and you would be, like, in the oh, that was such a good run. We moved up so much. Oh, dude, we're first on the leaderboard. Okay, we can play with some egg carton opponents now. But it's true. You would go to these tournaments, and, you know, I might have been like 20th best in my province for my age group. There were, like, you know, 16-year-olds who were worse than me. Are you kidding? Nobody has the author medal in the track so far. None of these people have the author medal. Anyway, so there were 16 and 17-year-olds who were worse than me, but, like, won their regional tournaments. But then there were, like, 9-year-olds who were way better. There was, like, you know, out of the 10 age groups, there were just, like, 6 kids where, regardless of their ages, you're like, if they want to, they could become, like, a grandmaster. But chess is weird, too, because, like, one of the, well, actually, not one of the, by far, the best chess player in my age group, he cruised handily every single year that I was in the provincials, at least. He went on to become a grandmaster, which is, like, I mean, as of the time of this recording, to my awareness, is the highest possible norm you can still achieve in chess, although I think there's, like, informal norms, like Super GM or whatever. And every once in a while, I'm like, I wonder if he ever made, like, a career out of being, like, insanely good at chess. And then, you know, his LinkedIn profile pops up, and he works in finance. And I'm like, that makes sense. Chess is like, I'm glad it's having a moment now, but it was definitely like, especially like in Canada, when I played competitive chess, there were only 2 grandmasters, Kevin Spraggett and Alexei Lesage, and they it was like one of the biggest chess events when they played like a series against one another, because like they would go to, you know, famous, and I mean obviously they're very good, but they would go to like world championship tournaments and then like, you know, come in 24th or something like that. And, you know, as a Canadian kid, you're like, I want to see a Canadian win. So you're like, well, let's have them play each other. I thought maybe we might have been in there on that one, quite frankly. But now it's like, I don't know, Canada probably has like... You know what? I'll ask. I'll ask Google after this lap, or when this lap appears on Tenable. Lost a lot of time there. I wonder if we stay low. Stay low on the heaven is a half pipe. Well, we're getting passed by the back of the pack here. All right. Excuse me. How many chess grandmasters in Canada? 3 international grandmasters? No, this is from 2006. That's an old article. FIDE, how many Canadian grandmasters? Let me see. Okay, here we go. FIDE.com. If you'll just excuse me one moment. Seems like there's like... I mean, I know you're like, I don't care, but... Seems like there's maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Like 9 grandmasters. That's pretty amazing. It's also funny, I recognize like so many of these names from like either being into chess as a child or from players that were actually like adjacent to me at tournaments. But like I'm not even saying like we were close. My age group was always like, hey, if you win like your first 5 matches in a row, get ready to lose because you're going to play that guy. Anyway. Skirt. Now, keep it moving. Keep it moving. How we doing here? Only 2 tenths back, but that's a terrible entrance to the tunnel. I'll tell you right out the gates, that's a terrible entrance to the tunnel. I'm thinking like we might cut this one a little short. I apologize, it's been a little banter-rich, or maybe you're welcome, it's been a little banter-rich. But I really just, I've lost faith in my ability to crush our PB. Like if this is a game of carrots and sticks, it's way more stick than carrot right now. Because the author medal is inconceivable. And we actually, like, I think we hit above our weight class with that last PB, which is awesome. Trust me, I'm very, very much not complaining. Thought maybe that had a chance. But I think we're almost like tapped out on performance quality here. We'll go back and check out the club before we finish this one. I want to see where we rank in BC too, because you know, top 17 Canada. I'm running the population dynamics, and I'm like that could be good enough. By far, or bar none, I should say, it should be like top 5 BC. BC, I think, is the 3rd most populous Canadian province. Might be 4th. It's definitely Ontario, Quebec. Then you know what? I bet it's Alberta. I bet Alberta has more population than BC. Vancouver is bigger than Calgary and Edmonton, but we don't have like 2 major cities. Although, unless I'm underestimating Victoria, which I mean no disrespect to, it's a lovely place. Such a lovely place. See you again at the Hotel Grand Empress on the waterfront. It's a landmark in there. Anyway. I went to Victoria a couple times. One time, so we got off the ferry, because you have to take the ferry or like a seaplane. And we took a cab, and the cab driver spent the whole, like, I don't even know how long the ride was from Swartz Bay to Victoria. He's like, you gotta go to the waterfront, and then there's like this old converted shipping container that sells like fish and chips and crab and other seafood. It's amazing. You gotta try it. Then, so like the first day, we were like, oh my god, we gotta try this crab. Like this local says it's incredible. We get down there, and there's a sign hung up on the shipping container that's like closed from November until April. it was like December 22nd. So, all right, I get it. It's a tourist heavy town. Nothing wrong with that. This is maybe one of the better runs in terms of banter fusion plus Trackmania gameplay. And I do think we've learned from the ghosts. The hard part is, well, that's part of the hard part. But the real hard part is like, stringing it all together. Honestly, I don't seem to have too much of a problem. I understand the irony, but I don't seem to have too much of a problem beating my PB through this section. Although sometimes, yeah, I mean, that can happen, or your tires clip in the little divots up there. No jumps, okay, the small jump. But I seem to remain somewhat competitive here. It's really the ice tunnel. And I think my PB had an amazing shot in the ice tunnel. It's hard not to be mad at your own personal best, though. Like, I'm upset that my PB is good, because I'm like, I want to beat me. But it was me that's me. Like, that's not even old me, that's current me, because that's my current PB. So I shouldn't be mad, I should, get glad. Now that was smooth. I think we lost more speed than the top racers, but still a real nice setup. Wheels did clip there. That's gonna, I mean, we reached the point I didn't think this track would reach, which is having to restart due to the slightest inefficiency. Well, the second slightest inefficiency, because that was inefficient, but yet we're still here. We're way high on this son of a gun. Yep. But it's such a subtle change. But if you thought I was going to dislike this track, I actually think you're wrong. But I think it's partly due to when this track caught me, Sometimes you just got a craving for matzo sticks. When you eat them, you're like, this owns. That's kind of where I'm at. We've had so many tracks that were like really, really straightforward and punishing that to have a track that's a little bit more like Sheryl Crow's magnum opus, all I want to do is have some fun. Oh my god. Is actually kind of nice. This is a welcome change. I will say, by the way, keep in mind, many of you will be going, where's Trackmania? Where's Trackmania? Tomorrow there is no Trackmania. Saturdays are my day off, so I do not record anything, including Trackmania. So you might say to yourself, he forgot the episode today. Is not the case. Just remember, it's not really track of the day. It's 6 tracks per week. And if anything, like I'm not trying to, give you reasons to leave. Trust me. Skirt? Not skirt. But if anything, we'll probably move to like 2 days off. I mean, for anybody that's unfamiliar, and you might be like, who could still be unfamiliar? But you'd be surprised. It comes up like fairly. Anytime I mention it, there's at least one person that's like, I had no idea. But my wife, Kate, is 7.25 months pregnant. Sometimes I say 8 months pregnant, but that's just when I want sympathy. But, so yeah, we're having a daughter soon, and, realistically, 1 day off per week has been good enough for me and for us. But obviously I'm going to want some more time when, we're nurturing another human being and raising them in this world. So at some point, probably move to a 2 days off model, and I'll take a traditional, like, 9 to 5 style weekend. Which will be nice, honestly. It's been a long time, and this is not really complaining. If you don't watch Isaac anymore, I talk about, like, work-life balance a lot in Isaac. I never complain about doing the job. I love recording. I love streaming. Sometimes, community stuff can be a drag, depending on whether the community's like pogged up or somewhat negative or toxic for whatever reason. And when it happens, we deal with it. And sometimes I end up getting a little burnt out because I probably work a little bit too much, but it's a constant adjustment period. I don't look at it as like black-white, like, oh, I'm burned out, I gotta take like 6 months off. And I don't look at it as like, you know, I'm in a good mood, let's work 16 hours a day. Like, I talk about this a lot, like on Check the Wire, but I know that there are streamers who are like, well, I mean, there's no need to like subtweet them because I'm not going to be rude, but there's streamers like Pokimane who made a post that she was like taking a month off because she's burned out, and I'm like, don't get me wrong, I support that in a big way. I much prefer that line of reasoning than when a streamer is like, I can't take any time off because, you know, the time that I've had this brunch today, I've already lost 7,500 subscribers. You know, I mean, if you're in a position where not working for an hour costs you 7,500 subscribers, then you're probably financially doing just fine, is the subtext there. But anyway, see, you can trick the reporters like that, but I'll run the arithmetic. But I'm also, whenever I see that, I'm like, don't get me wrong, I think it's good, you know, if you're genuinely burnt out to like take a month off. But I do also wonder like how much of that, you know, the feeling that you need to take 4 weeks disconnected is tied into the fact that, like, you know, so much of your personal life is also online. Like when you live in a streamer house, or, you know, there's a Korean streamer that Kate watches that he's live like, it's 5 or 6 days a week, but it's like 12 to 14 hours every single time. And then, like, whenever he goes through, like, a phase where he's like, I'm not feeling this, he's like, I want to take 6 months off. And I'm like, you don't need to take 6 months off. Just, like, work, like, 8-hour days, 5 or 6 days a week. You know, like, you're burning the candle down to the nub. You gotta leave some room for like regeneration. So I think like I work hard. I work harder than a lot of content creators, particularly on YouTube. You know, and that's not meant to be a slight. On Twitch, I think there's a lot of people who just demonstrably work longer hours than I do. But you know, whether or not that's always the most efficient way to approach it is another thing that, you know, is worth discussing. Hold on, I gotta focus here. We got a little rattled there. We got thrown off our game. But, you know, I think that it's not just for philosophy, it's for, like, happiness in the moment as well. I think that I've, over the years, found, like, a happy medium of where, you know, I can do something consistently without psychologically being like, I gotta get out of this industry. And that's really, like, oh, dude, that's so much airtime. I think that's like what I would recommend for other streamers. But again, I don't have all the answers. I am talking, you know, about people who are, you know, from an analytics standpoint, much more successful than I am. But I will say I got a unique advantage. I've been doing it for a long time. A lot of the people that have been doing it, you know, they started around the same time as me or even later, kind of lost the plot halfway through. And I'll give them advice. I'll be like, hey, maybe you shouldn't be working 14 hours a day. Maybe you should work like, you know, 8 hours a day. And then they say things to me like, you wouldn't understand. You got your community so good. And I'm like, okay, maybe I don't understand. Or maybe, you know, maybe the fact that I, you know, have treated my content this way is why the community allows me to make it this way in the first place. So I guess what I am saying is I do have all the answers. Anyway. That's my rationale for taking a second day off when my firstborn human child enters the world. But it will mean a dearth of Trackmania for a bit. Anyway, let's keep it moving. This might, I'm gonna say this is last attempt. We kind of stalled out. Admittedly, we haven't really been too focused on the actual lap for a minute here, but that was not that much rattling. That's still like, it's too much airtime. I'm trying to diagnose what the ghosts are doing. To be honest, we probably would like to just have less ghosts at this point, but I think that's going to do it. And honestly, like, I'm pretty still pleased with my performance. We're top 2 BC. Sure, I'll live with that. Again, still early, but I'll live with that. Egg Carton, top 38. That'll change, but I'll take it for now. And another gold. And I do want to check out the club, because I promised I would look at the new club skins that are available. So let me see what we got here. We got NL Dark. By NL Dark 3 by Halkengard. Let me get a download on this, please. It really downloads to a zip file on your computer, huh? Oh, there we go. Ooh la la. What is this button? Check. I mean, that's a nice looking ride right there. That is pretty sick, Halkengard. I'm not going to deny that. All right, well, that's a good run today. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, click the like button. Helps out a great deal. And I'll see you on Monday with the next track of the day for me. Thanks for watching. I'll see you then. See you.